It's Stephen A. and Whitlock. And y'all can say it's Whitlock versus Stephen A., but I think it's dual-sided. So Whitlock asked me directly, is Stephen A. Smith lying about something? Now, the whole getting recruited off of a tryout, that's a lie. Or if it ain't a lie, it certainly ain't the truth. Not the full truth, not the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Hell no. So I don't like to call somebody a liar when I wasn't there because I know I've been lied on before. You know, that's my reservation other than saying, no, you lying. But this is different. I don't like to jump into people's beefs. I don't like to insert myself in these conversations. I'm just not built for that, right? Because I don't know enough. It ain't because I don't want to talk about it. I like gossiping like the next person. Call it communication. I like talking trash about everybody. I like jokes. I like to clown people. Come on, y'all. It ain't that. It's just because I don't know enough. But this situation, I know a lot about. So Stephen A. Smith was talking about being protected growing up in the hood because of who he was. Let's talk through it. Listen to Whitlock.
Marcellus, I want to play you this clip of Stephen A. talking about how he was protected in his neighborhood by the killer drug kingpin who lived across the street. And Stephen A. in high school was like, he said he graduated high school at 5'9", 130 pounds. He said he got held back in fourth grade. I got another video where he said his high school counselor laughed out loud at the thought of Stephen A. trying to go to college. But listen to Stephen A., who made his high school basketball team as a senior in high school at 5'9", 130 pounds, was only on the team for a month or two, who dyslexic, and people thought he was stupid, and he writes in his book how he got teased for being stupid. Listen to him talk about how the drug dealers in Hollis, Queens protected him.
That we just finished talking about when I talk about how, I'm not snitching, I'm not talking, I'm not getting into people's personal business or whatever. I grew up with that code. One of the biggest drug dealers in Hollis literally lived directly across the street from me, and he was a killer. And it was understood, Steve is not to be touched. You got dealers in Hollis. Steve is not to be touched. They understood that there was potential in me, and they literally threatened they were going to whip my ass if they ever saw me on the corner involved in the drug game in any way. They said we didn't have a choice.
How did they know? How did they know that about you?
They would see me on the basketball court. First of all, the level of diligence that I put forth, that I'd shoot like 300 J's a day and stuff like that. They'd see me in school. They know I came home, I do my homework, put in the work, whatever. They knew that I wasn't trying to be about that life. And so their whole mentality was, you got your mother there, you got your 4 older sisters there, active part of your life. You got a support system. You don't have to do this. We did. We made our choice, but we ain't going to let you make this choice. And literally, I've had several of them tell me, we will fuck you up. Do not be on this corner. Do not be doing this. Do not be going to bust your ass. Wow. And they meant it. And I knew they meant it. And so they would sit up there. They'd let me shoot, stuff like that. It would get dark. They had to get into their game. They said, all right, it's time for you to go. But it was understood. People in the neighborhood, it was widely known, do not touch me with that.
Marcellus, please, if you need me to send you that clip, but you got to find it, take it off this show, whatever. But I just would love to hear your response to that. Having grown up in Compton, would love to hear you break down Stephen A. Smith, not to be touched. Dude is 5'9", 130 pounds, held back in fourth grade, but they could see that he went to school and did his homework. They could see him out there shooting jumpers. Don't touch him. This dude is headed for the NBA. He's headed for...
Woo! Why is there a hood 101 that people just love to just profess, to subscribe to? I don't even think the good question is he lying? I think the better question is, why is he lying? Because this reminds me of when I got to school and college, how everybody got more gangster and harder the farther they got away from the hood. You know what I mean? Like they go to these campuses and all of a sudden they start banging. Who didn't see that at their school? Like, dog, did you bang like that at school? See, I got to school and got softer. And people were laughing at me like, dog, you sure you're from Compton? You sure you're from the hood? I was like, what you want me to do? Bring that here, fool? I'm going here to get away from that to get somewhere else. And I ain't even apologize about it. People always had, I got pride from where I'm from, but at the same time, fool, ain't nobody trying to deal with all that. My family didn't raise their hand to be in the hood. The hood chose us because of circumstances, right? So I never got caught up in like, let me act hard and stuff. Whatever. But I noticed it. I know my guys who came from Anacostia, my guys who came from Anderson, and I know how hard they had it, and I know how hard they still were wearing it. And I was like, dog, why don't you drop some of them layers, bro? Why don't you let some of that back? Leave that back there. They wanted to bring it there. All right, cool. Everybody wants to start it from the bottom story, the Drake story, you know what I mean? Everybody, I'm down because I'm from it. I'm from the bottom. And I'm like, you affluent. And I'm so glad that I was this guy in college because now I'm a better father in this moment to my kids who are not from the hood, right? My kids are from Studio City and Encino, where Michael Jackson grew up and lived or whatever. So I'm like, is Stephen A. Smith lying? Let's talk about what a drug dealer would and would not do living across the street from you. Okay. The kingpin, drug dealer, drug lord, whatever you want to call him, he is going to look out for people, but he going to look out for certain people. Obviously his family, right? He going to look out for his family. He going to look out for his for real friends, right? Not associates, for real friends. You got to remember this competition, bro. Capitalism at its finest, and it's manipulative, right? He got to take care of his by taking advantage of others. So, if you really his friend, you family, you good. And then there's always that exception, that lane. And even I wasn't a part of this lane, but I still got protected. The lane is, I see your future. Here's what's hard to believe about what Stephen A. Smith is saying. Didn't seem like he saw his future and nobody else saw his future, according to Jason Whitlock and his research. According to Jason Whitlock and what he's been saying. According to what Stephen A. has been saying. Ain't nobody looking out for you when they don't see no future in it. Ain't no future in your front, right? Never was, cuz. What MC Breeze said, right? So the question is, was he family? Was he the homie? Did he see your future? So I think what Whitlock is trying to do is say, look, this man will go to no end to lie, to exaggerate. Therefore, why take him seriously? But here's the counter to that. We don't take him seriously. He's a sports media entertainer. Like me, like you. Like, how serious are we taking him? But then Whitlock counters that and says, wait a minute. See, this is Whitlock. People don't understand this about Whitlock. He has such influence. People actually listen. People actually believe him. Now, people listen and believe Whitlock too, but he ain't talking about him. He talking about to a grand scale. Told y'all, he always going to attack those who are at the highest, right? He's going to look at the idols. And Stephen A. Smith is an idol. And he's like, you better be real. This story to me just sounded like Hood 101, where everybody who leaves that situation talks about it in such crazy ways. Like, I don't glorify it. I will give you receipts of what I went through, but glorify it? Hell no. I was a punk on purpose. Because I thought that was the best way to survive. I wasn't going to out gangster these real gangsters. I wasn't going to out hard the real hard ones. Dog, I'm talking about for real. I'm talking about really there. And I got protected because, one, I did have family. I told you about my uncles. Told you about their friends and all their homies and those from the hood and set. But what protected me was they saw my future. My sister, my family on one side, like, don't mess with them because we going to beef. So nobody waking up wanting to beef. You're going to beef through your day, but you ain't waking up yawning with beef. You ain't trying to have that. That's a horrible, hard day. So I got that family protection because my family was going to clap back for real. And they did in a couple incidents growing up, couple incidents. But I got a future and it was bright and it was seen from hello. Just wondering like how Stephen A got in that position based on the words and based on what he went through, based on what he said. Now, if you saw the clip, there was a lot of head nodding. There was a lot of this. Well, I remember, oh man, y'all, the body language experts. Remember those? And Cass used to be like that. I used to have coaches used to say that. This weekend, guys, I'm telling y'all, we got them. I'm like, dog, you all right, coach? Won't you affirm that instead of negate that with your body language? Ah, man. So I think Whitlock and Stephen A gonna keep this going. I'm gonna sit on the sidelines and just laugh at it. And when I get inserted, I will give you my 2 cents. But I think that right now, there was a time, a desperation for Stephen A, where he went all in on all things he knows that works, whether they were true or not, whether they were him or not. And I've seen it 1,000 times. I've seen it too many times where everybody want to claim that story. I think it's sad because I think it really handcuffs, especially black people, to that story. When the hood ain't exclusive to the black community, ain't exclusive to black people. It ain't exclusive to anybody but to somebody who is challenged, suffering, going through it, adverse. So, all in all, I declare that this story doesn't pass the smell test. But what do y'all think, man? And y'all burnt out on them beefing? I am not, because I like the Hunger Games of it. I like the fact that they's like, whoever gonna be the champ, whoever gonna have the masses, whoever gonna have the voice, gonna have to earn it. And this is not about just viewership, because y'all gotta remember, you need people who are supporting you, evangelists. Remember, sometimes you got a lot of people who rock with you, but none of them gonna roll with you. They ain't gonna ride with you. They rock with you, but they don't roll with you. They don't ride with you. And then there are people who got evangelists, right? You ever see that? Somebody got 5,000 followers, and every post gets 400 comments. Then you see somebody with 1 million followers, and they get like 200. You're like, how is that working? Some people got evangelists, and some people just got people just riding with them, rocking with them, rolling with them. You got to know the difference. You got to know that simplicity. So y'all rocking with Stephen A? Y'all rolling with Whitlock? Where y'all at with this whole conversation? I like it. I got my popcorn ready. I got the cotton candy out. Tell me what y'all think about it. And some questions right here. Would you say Stephen A is just a liar? No. He lying on this and a couple other things, but he ain't no liar. I hope not. Coming up next on Never Shut Up. Beat it up in the comments, y'all. Let's talk through this and funk up the comments and hit you with a Wileyism. That's next. Never Shut Up brings TV and Reach TV.